The Nike Pegasus is a line of shoes that so many of you rely on for your daily training runs. But I have to be honest, I slept on all 37 versions that came before this one. But I decided, you know what? If I'm gonna be doing running shoe reviews on YouTube, how am I actually gonna sleep on the Nike Pegasus once again? So, decided to pick up the Nike Pegasus 38 for you fine folks, and these are my thoughts after my first initial runs. Let's get into it. If this is your first time on the channel, my name is Brendon and I'm a non-elite runner from Halifax, Nova Scotia, just trying to get out there every day and get a little bit faster, but I'm never gonna be an elite runner. That's not the point. It's all about just having fun, trying out new shoes, and sharing the experiences here on YouTube with you folks. So if that's something you're into, consider hitting that subscribe button right down below. Oh, and just so you know, I did buy this shoe by myself. I did pay Nike 155 Canadian dollars. That's fine from my bank account to the overlord of Nike. Now, I did bring in someone very special to give the overview of the specs of this shoe to you folks, so let's see what he has to say. First of all, I just want to thank Brendon for having me on the channel. We here at Nike, when we think of the Pegasus line, we want the runner to feel like some sort of blend of a horse, a human, and a bird. Just like that mythical creature Pegasus, we want you to feel just like that. We want you to have the power of the horse, the will and determination of a human being, and the gliding smooth nature of a bird. That is exactly what we're looking for when you put on the Pegasus 38. Now, in terms of the specs for the Pegasus 38, we're looking at a little bit of a heavier shoe, but it's a daily option. It's nothing like our Vaporfly line. This is just something that you're gonna get through the day, get your miles in, soak them up, all that good stuff. So this is coming in at a weight of 10.2 ounces for a men's size 9. That's in the US, by the way. And for the women's, it's coming in at a weight of 8.5 ounces. Now, in terms of stack height, with this React midsole with that Zoom ear cushion in the forefoot, you're looking at 27.5 millimeters in the heel and 17.5, I think we put in the heel for a 10 millimeter drop. So it's not a super high stack height. But honestly, what I like the most that our designers did in this shoe is include a super thick sock liner for that little bit of extra cush. And I'm sure I've heard Brendon has a little bit concerned with our sock liner choice. You know him, he likes to be kind of critical, and I don't blame him because he does buy these shoes himself. So if he needs to say some negative things, get his thoughts across, that's totally fine. We here at Nike will take that into consideration. All right, thank you so much, Brendon. I'm throwing it back to him. So this midsole is full-length React with an air zoom pocket right in that forefoot. It's that same midsole that you're gonna get in the Nike Pegasus 37. So if you tried that shoe, you've pretty much tried this midsole, but I haven't. So let's talk about what I'm feeling with. So when I'm landing, it feels a little bit firm, but as I transition to the forefoot for my toe off, that little bit of extra softness definitely comes into play. Like the Nike fella said, I do think that the sock liner is adding a lot in terms of the softness, what I'm feeling here. So the sock liner is super thick. I think it adds like an additional 7 millimeters of stack height according to Running Warehouse, but I am a little bit concerned with this sock liner. The reason being is as this sock liner gets compressed, I do feel that the ride feel of this shoe is definitely gonna change, and that's not something I'm looking forward to. Because if this shoe starts to feel entirely like it does when I'm landing in the heel, I just don't think I'll really enjoy it because it is quite firm and dense is how I would describe this midsole with a little bit of spring. It's tough to describe, honestly. But I will say that when I'm out there going at my daily training and faster paces, it feels pretty good when I'm landing more on that midfoot to forefoot. This is where this shoe feels the best for me. When I did do my easier paces, like for me that's around 6:15 to 6:45 per kilometer, quite slow, but it is easy paces. This shoe did not feel awesome. It felt kind of clunky and awkward. When I was landing more on that midfoot and transitioning off to the forefoot, that's when the midsole felt the best for me. Honestly, I don't think I'd really use it for my easy day stuff. Overall, I'm really enjoying the ride feel of the midsole, but honestly, I am concerned that as the sock liner deteriorates and gets more flattened down over time, the ride feel is going to deteriorate, and so will my feeling towards this winged horse. Nay, you don't mean that. I do mean that. Now, the upper is where they made all the changes from the 37 to the 38, and honestly, I love the upper of this shoe. It's so accommodating. So for the most part, the reason that I don't like Nike shoes is because I find them too narrow. But the way that they designed this upper with the midfoot webbing system, they're calling it, it's amazing. I guess what the midfoot webbing is how they design the eyelet chain. And honestly, it's so nice. It really opens up to allow for my little bit of a wider foot compared to a lot of the other Nike shoes. For a lot of the other Nike shoes, I feel like I'm really getting squished in the forefoot, and then in the toe box, it's just game over. Can't really wear them. But I will say that the Nike Pegasus does still have that little bit of a narrow toe box. The material's laying on my foot just a little bit. So if you do have a little bit more of a wider forefoot, maybe look at the Nike Pegasus wide version. So they do have those. I think they even have extra wide. But in terms of how this upper's feeling, the lockdown has been absolutely incredible. I am getting a great lockdown through the heel, no heel slippage whatsoever. The sandwich mesh upper is nice and plush and comfortable at least, and it does give that little bit of extra lockdown, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's all in this webbing system in the forefoot. But overall, the sandwich mesh upper that they have in this Pegasus is chef kiss to this. I really enjoy what they're doing. The tongue is fully gusseted, and you guys know how much I love a gusseted tongue. It just makes that lockdown that much better. And if you're not sure what a gusseted tongue is, it pretty much just means that there's reinforcements along the tongue to make it a little bit more locked down for you folks. But the breathability is where this kind of goes downhill. It definitely takes a turn for the worst when we consider the breathability of this shoe. I've been running in typical Halifax May weather of like between 5 degrees Celsius and 20 degrees Celsius, and when I'm going up towards that 20 degrees Celsius with this shoe, my feet definitely get a little bit sweaty. But I don't think that's not anything that I can fix with wearing a bit more of a thin sock. But will the lockdown be compromised if I change to a thinner sock? I don't think so, just because of the webbing system here. Like I said, it's just absolutely fantastic. And look at it. The colors, I'm a bright color loving type of guy. And the bright colors on this shoe, I love it. I know I'm not gonna go on the looks. I could go on for days about the looks of this shoe. I'm just loving it. But overall, the upper, the lockdown has been great. The plushness and comfort of the upper has been great. It's been accommodating for my foot that typically doesn't like Nike shoes. It's been accommodating, and overall, it's just been an absolute joy to run in. So for the outsole here, they have a combination of Duralon blown rubber and carbon rubber. Don't ask me what the difference between those two different types of rubbers are, because I'm not a material scientist and I don't really understand the difference. But what the Nike website does say is that what it's meant to do is just add that little bit of extra cushioning and durable traction. And you know what? Look at the size of these lugs. It definitely is gonna be perfectly fine for me running on my little brushed paths and all that stuff. I'm not gonna go do like an exploration. I'm not gonna become Dora the Explorer in these types of shoes. I would need typical hiking shoes and maybe a monkey to bring along with me and a backpack and maybe some other stuff. Maybe I'll need to learn Spanish if I want to be Dora the Explorer. But in terms of the outsole on this shoe, it's been absolutely fantastic for me when I do my runs on brushed paths, on gravel, and on normal rainy days. It's been doing the job just fine. And like I said, there's tons of rubber here on the outsole, so in terms of durability, I don't think that is going to be an issue. Now, it definitely does add to the weight of the shoe. Like the shoe designer said, it does come in quite heavy. And in my size specifically, it's 11 ounces on the dot in 10.5 US men's. But I do think that the amount of rubber here is perfect for a daily trainer because you don't want to be buying shoes over and over if you're going to wear them often, right? But in terms of the outsole, I haven't had any troubles so far. It's been fine. There's a good amount of it, which is good. And it even has a little bit of a decouple groove that I guess it helps reduce the weight and adds that little bit of extra spring. And you know what? I love springs. I love springs. You know, the equation of springs, K is equal to N or something. I forgot all that when I left my dynamics class. Now, in terms of value, the $155 for this shoe, I think is perfectly priced. 120 US dollars, by the way. But I do think that this shoe is perfectly priced. It is very versatile. It's gonna be able to do your faster runs, your daily training runs. For me, not so much my easy day shoe, just because I find it a little bit too firm for that. I have the Invincible Run for that because I'm just a little bit of an extra guy. But I do think that the value of the shoe is there. I think it's a great buy. If you're looking to get into running and you need a shoe, I think this would be a great choice for your first running shoe. Now, looking at other daily trainers that can compete with the Pegasus, definitely Nike's behind the game in terms of innovation. But what they haven't lost at is value, because a lot of the daily trainers coming on the market today are priced very high. The Saucony Ride line is one of the closest price shoes that I can think of that is kind of the same style of shoe. And that shoe is 165 Canadian dollars, so $10 more than the Pegasus. And then we're looking at the ASICS line of shoes like the Glide Ride, the Gel Nimbus Light #2, the Nova Blast, those shoes, which are 200 Canadian dollars. So you're taking quite a big leap in price with not too much of a performance gain, honestly. That's just my own opinion, but we're gonna have to do some battles, and come back and subscribe if you wanna see some battles between the Pegasus and other daily trainers. I think it would be a lot of fun to figure out which one is king. Overall, guys, I'm thoroughly impressed with the Pegasus. I didn't think I was gonna like it at all. Just thought it would be another Nike shoe that I'm gonna buy and never wear, but definitely not the case. I'm looking forward to putting more and more miles into the Pegasus 38. Let me know, have you tried the Pegasus line and you're looking forward to the 38? Or do you think that the changes they've made in the 38 make this shoe worse? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Thank you all so much for making it to the end of the video. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, staying safe out there, and enjoying your runs. Remember, we're all runners. It doesn't matter if someone's running 4 minutes per mile in a shoe. If you're running 10 minutes per mile in that same shoe, you can still enjoy it. That's all that matters, is you're getting out there. All right, I'll see you on the next one.